Okay, Wistfulness is kind of perfect for Vivi Cauldron. We've been talking about this for a couple days. The general this card does a lot for this archetype. If you haven't seen in the past, we have been working a good bit on Vivi Cauldron in Modern. We have a lot of good results with it. I think it's a pretty solid and pretty underrated deck in Modern. Um, Wistfulness is a 2 mana 6/5 evoke that also lets you draw two and discard a card when you evoke it for 2 blue. I kind of the main thing you want to be doing with this is be able to discard VV or just draw action, and then before this is evoked, Cauldron the VV onto the Wistfulness so you can make 7 mana. 7 mana is a lot of mana, and in a deck with so much card advantage, the goal is you start chaining stuff together. And one thing that I think is really fun about this version of the deck is like when you kind of have these like one shot, you have these one shot big mana bursts from Wistfulness and also Quantum Riddler to a lower extent. The Fatestitcher tech is even better because it lets you like get another like single shot burst off, if that makes sense. If you've missed the Fatestitchers, there's a second like Fatestitcher is one just good in the deck, which is great. It's like good to discard for value. Good to untap Cauldron. Sometimes you're going to tap your opponent's mana to tap them out of interaction. Fatestitcher is just good. Gran-Gran is also just good in this deck, being a one mana looter. But Fatestitcher, if you Cauldron a Fatestitcher onto your grandma, and there's another creature in play with Fatestitcher's ability, either from Cauldron or just another Unearthed Fatestitcher, you can untap your Gran-Gran infinitely to loop through your entire deck. Profs to have like 40 counters on a creature, and then Cauldron Ballista to win the game with the 40 counters on your creatures. So that's how you combo kill your opponent if you're not just going to beat them with your gigantic creatures. And then I found so far in testing that Fatestitcher is better than in this version than it has been in previous builds. Although I mean, it's just kind of maybe I'm overthinking it because as far as I'm thinking about VV Cauldron, this Fatestitcher Gran-Gran is like kind of mandatory in these builds. Rumble is also one thing about Wistfulness is it does this cool thing where you loot away VV, you get to make 7 mana with your Cauldron. Awesome. This card is also a main deck disenchant. A main deck disenchant in a graveyard based combo deck like this is so sick. The fact that it can come down, kill High Noon, the fact that it can kill Graveyard Hate. It can also just interact with your opponent naturally, killing like Goblin Bombardment, killing Urza Saga, killing Ruby Medallion. All of that is awesome. And so you definitely want to be playing enough green sources that you can reliably green evoke. And so if you end up being pretty green, there's a couple of other cards that you could consider playing. Obviously, we are playing Malevolent Rumble. I was also testing Fanatic of Ronus yesterday. And with Fanatic of Ronus, I had 4 copies of Quantum Riddler. So the build was like, I think I was also testing 19 lands. I didn't like 19 lands so much. Um, but I had 4 Fanatic, and I had 4 Quantum Riddler, and I had no fear of missing outs. And Fanatic was actually pretty good in the deck. The ability to go like either evoke or warp, and then make 4 mana, and then like cast Rumble, cast Cauldron. I was pretty impressed by it. The problem with Fanatic was that I was fizzling. I was fizzling when I was going off. I had too many non-card draw spells, and I had no looting also. I had no looting in that build, and I was really like mostly green blue with like a very light red splash for VV. But with no lootings and having all the extra mana dorks, I find myself just fizzling on the combo turns too often. So they had to come out, unfortunately. But the Fanatics were really cool, and then with no Fanatics, I don't think I was a little bit too clogged up on Riddler, so the fear of missing outs got back in. It's kind of how the deck evolved here. That being said, Rumble has been really good in the deck. Not only does it like dig you super deep, but like the spawn token being cauldronable is like a really big deal. It's super nice that the spawn token is cauldronable, but also it lets you double spell on turn 3 really often, which is so nice for like the turn 3 combo kills. We're not up to par for the stream. So the draw for round 1. Sorry for that long tangent with Wistful Cauldron. Hope that there was something in there that was insightful. I guess I'll put back the second Winternight Stories. HGS with the 7 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Do you have any opinion on the deck reporting changes from Moto? It seems bad. It seems net bad. Uh, I don't have a lot more than that. Dusty Cheeks with the 43 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So no Fatal Push. Hopefully they don't have a Bowmaster. Bowmaster is really, really tough to beat. Okay, thankfully the Ballista is your out to it here, and we do have one, so I guess I'll be discarding the Ballista. Thoughts on Dream Salvage and a Cephalid Coliseum deck. Wait, now they Bowmaster? After I draw? I mean, the whole Coliseum stuff is testing really poorly, so I wouldn't. At the moment, I'm not too excited about it. All right, well, I guess let's resolve a Cauldron. Is there any light? Is there any light where the changes could seem good? I'm confused. Okay. I think I'm gonna go into Cauldron the Ballista now. Need a creature. No. Green mana is tough, especially because this is a green creature. Also a creature. I'm gonna cast Looting. They're gonna trigger the Bowmaster. It is what it is, as the kids say. I think we'll discard Steam Vent, Soul Cauldron. Should you play main phase Cauldron to play around Cling? Probably should. Although, to some extent, trying to bait Bowmaster to kill Gran-Gran so you can resolve Cauldron can be pretty valuable. Let's see if they counter the Rumble. Discarding Ballista may have been bad against Cling. Yeah, maybe. Let's take the Wistfulness. Still no Vivi. But hopefully we'll be able to use the Cauldron Ballista to kill the Bowmaster. Did I not fetch this turn? This is so weird. Like, my opponent is just like I draw a card, they don't cast Bowmaster, I crack a fetch, they don't play the one. No, I mean, after they play Bowmaster, you should have used Cauldron's second main before passing turn to play around Cling. Okay, sure. On board. Maybe the Pyroclasm should be Fire Magics for this matchup, so you could just respond to Bowmaster. It's kind of tough to have that and also have True Fatestitcher. And also the Veil of Summers. It's going to kill the Bowmaster. Let's get Wistful, I think. Maybe this was bad. Because they're just always going to Subtlety. I am going to go ahead and put this on the top, and I'm going to go to main phase Cauldron so that I'm able to kill the one this turn cycle. Maybe I should just do this now. Yeah, I should do this now, because otherwise they'll be able to Field of Ruin in response, although, I don't have to kill it right now. Am I planning on breaking pre-modern similar to how I do in modern? I mean, I'm open to one day playing pre-modern. The reason I really haven't played any of it so far is that it's just not a widely adopted format yet. And I just do find formats that are more popular, that have more attention on them. I find them a lot more interesting. I guess I lead on the Profts, although I really, really don't want it to get countered. All right, now we need to find a Vivi pretty badly. Okay, we do find a Vivi. We discard the Vivi and the Fatestitcher. Cauldron Vivi. Make a blue mana. Unearth the Fatestitcher. Okay, if I unearth Fatestitcher, I can Winternight. But just barely. Blue, and then we have to sack. I guess I will ping the Orc army, then sack the spawn, Winternight. So now I can go discard Fatestitcher, untap Fatestitcher, Cauldron, but then I do only have one mana, so I think I'm probably just gonna go discard the Fatestitcher, Surveil. Keep the profs. Ping the orc army. Pass. Does this deck count as getting weird with it? I mean, I think Vivi Cauldron is a deck we've put a lot of time into. It's an archetype I think is good and I believe in. So, if you don't believe in it, that's fine. But I'm a believer. So they're gonna field me because I surveilled the card to the top. I do only have 2 basics. Thankfully, they target the maze instead of the steam vents. I did really want to have the profs though, so I could get a bunch of counters on my Fatestitcher this turn. So let's start with the looting. A second Vivi is pretty good, and a second Fatestitcher is also pretty good. So I'm going to discard the Vivi. I'm going to discard the Fatestitcher. I'm going to unearth the Fatestitcher. On Vampire Hexmage, I see listed Moxfield with the card. Play it as a 3-of. Is that to be tested the best quantity? 2 is okay? 2 is okay. It's between those 2 numbers, I'd say. Okay, so this is going to give me 4 mana because I can activate Vivi twice here. Yeah, Vivi activate twice. I also have another Fatestitcher in the yard. I think I'm going to flashback a looting. Now, I want to untap this Cauldron to Cauldron onto another creature rather than get more counters here, I think. Pretty sure that that's right. I think I'll leave a red mana floating. So I'm not going to be able to rumble this turn because I'm only at 2 life. I can't shock in a breeding pool, but let's go discard a rumble and discard a Flooded Strand. Now I'm going to play Gran-Gran. If my opponent... Because I floated a... Should I have Fatestitchered first? I guess I should have Fatestitchered first, because now if my opponent has... Now if my opponent has a Fatal Push for the Gran-Gran, then I... fizzle. So let's hope that doesn't happen, I guess. Okay, so let's go blue. I can activate again, but let's just go ahead and Winternight Stories, tapping the Grandma, and then this is I get a loot first. I have 3 more lootings in the yard. Okay, there's a Profs. Profs is going to be a big mana jump here. I'll discard another Vivi, which is, maybe surprisingly the case, but is helpful. So I'll go blue, unearth Fatestitcher again. Now, remember, we can't Gran-Gran combo if this has Summoning Sickness, for whatever that's worth. A little bit of a complicated first game. Untap the Cauldron again. Now, when I Cauldron this Vivi again, but my other 2 creatures here will have the... they'll have the Vivi Cauldron again. Yeah, exiling additional VVs allows you to activate again. So with Fatestitcher, this is really relevant because you very often activate the same Cauldron multiple times in a turn. We do want to cast this copy of Wistfulness main phase 1 or main phase 1s, which we are still in main phase 1. We want to cast this main phase 1 so that we can get extra Profs counters. My opponent has a Subtlety or... Crazy that this is the first opportunity where Subtlety is allowed here. So I have 1 activation here, 2 activations here. Let's go 1, 2. Flashback looting? Yeah, flashback looting, I guess. 1, 2. And then now we'll go... I think playing a Fear of Missing Out is probably a little bit better than playing a Wistfulness, although maybe I'm underestimating my need to dig. So we'll go to combat, and then counters here. Then we'll have roughly infinity mana. We also have a bunch of counters now for the Cauldron. We've got 16. So I guess we just add extra counters here. We just add extra counters and win this way. Little bit of a little complicated deck. First game of the day. They could have fizzled me 3 times. Wait, yeah, they could have subtletied the Gran-Gran. That's true. They couldn't have subtletied the Fatestitcher though. Just ping, then we won. I need a few more counters. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Isn't it already lethal? Isn't it? We have 15, 16, 17, 18. No, it's just now lethal. By my calculations. Wait, can I not save targets anymore? The opponent kind of gave it to us. Yeah. I mean, this is, to some extent you get this value playing a deck like this. I agree. My opponent made a lot of mistakes there. Yeah, subtlety can't stop on Earth though. But they could have subtlety Gran-Gran. Okay, so we're on the draw for game 2. I think I'm gonna play 2 Pyroclasms for Bowmasters. One thing that's nice about siding cards in this deck in general is you have a lot of ways to loot them away if they're not good. So you can kind of take higher variance cards. I'm gonna trim a Winternight Stories, a Looting, a FOMO, a Rumble, maybe Looting number 3. Should I be worried about fizzling? Where can I find Ready Deck? I just started the game 2 days ago. I find it really interesting. I can't build my own since I don't know 99 of the cards. So what this channel is, if you're still you might not know, is I'm always trying to build new decks. So you can go to moxfield.com/user/aspiring-spike, wonderful sponsor of the channel, to see what I've been playing. If there's a card you're interested in looking at and seeing brews for it, you can type that card in the Moxfield site, and you can try to find a deck that's interesting. Beyond that, you can find the more normal, like established metagame decks on MTG Goldfish. And that's like the most normal resource. But I think Moxfield is really good for discovering, and also kind of, I would recommend it to like build your own decks into. Let's just go down to 2 Rumbles. Another thing too, I would encourage you, if you're just getting into the format, there's a lot going on when it comes to Modern as a format. Those first few months you have as a Modern player, when you're learning and you're discovering all the weirdness and the quirks, there's no format like this. I'm able to do what I do and just brew every day because the format is so weird. The format is just so distinctly weird that I'm able to come here and play something new almost every single day. Get really weird with it because it's just something the format allows you to do. And so I just encourage you to take your time. Take your time, enjoy the weirdness, and let the learning come naturally. So I'm gonna fetch here to bait out Juan. I want them to cast the Juan. I want them to cast the Juan so I can resolve a Cauldron, but they did not play the Juan, so I'm gonna play Profts to hope that this gets countered so I can resolve this. And then, I recommend in this process, while you are trying to figure out what you like about Modern or what you want to be doing in the format, I recommend just finding a deck that speaks to you, renting it on Magic Online, proxying it up and playing with friends, and then continue with it if you like it, or pick up something new as you go. That's usually the process I recommend. All right, so again, not going to expose the Cauldron to a counterspell right now. Just these kind of matchups, just casting Vivi is pretty good because they do need to deal with it, and if they don't deal with it, it's going to take over the game. And if it dies, you just get to Cauldron it, hopefully. Now, my opponent's deck is all interaction, so we don't want to get too optimistic here. But in theory, being able to go Wistfulness plus Cauldron, we can make 7 mana next turn, and then draw a good bit of cards. Then we can Fatestitcher the Cauldron potentially. I might just need to jam next turn. They've got a Nile Spellbomb. Interesting that they're playing this. I'm usually of the opinion that Spellbomb's not that good with 3 main deck Cling to Dusts. I think it's not a great use of sideboard slots. Not that that's that big a deal. All right, so they have a Force of Negation. So I'm gonna play a Gran-Gran here so I can just hardcast Wistfulness next turn. Halfling makes sense over Gran-Gran since we're in green. Gran-Gran is insane. Gran-Gran's got a secret second infinite combo, 1 mana looter, so good. I would never not play Gran-Gran here. Pro Grandma stream. So let's attack. I don't know if I'm discarding a land or the Stitcher. I think I'll just discard the Fatestitcher to try to incentivize them to. Oh no, sorry. I'm gonna target the Spellbomb with the Wistfulness if it resolves. All right. Well, let's see if they have a wand. I do need to crack the fetch. Um, I know they have 4 Field of Ruins, but I think I'd rather not go to too low a life total. But yeah, I think Wistfulness is such a good fit for this archetype. It seems really, really nice. Should we not Wistfulness pre-combat? I think against Bowmaster it's worse, no? Also Subtlety. Yeah, I do think we should have discarded Misty instead of the Fatestitcher for whatever that's worth. But they just have a dispute. Then they cycle the Spellbomb end of turn. They're going to have 3 cards in their hand when they untap. How many Riddlers do I have left? I still have both. I had 4 Riddlers yesterday when I was on Fnatic, but Fnatic just made me fizzle too often, unfortunately. Yeah, again, FOMO main phase 1 is worse against Subtlety. Have I thought about any lesson build lately? There was a chatter who was playing the lesson package in the Teamer Woodland deck, which I thought was pretty interesting. All right, so we've got 2 Pyroclasms and 1 Ballista as a way to deal with Bowmaster. I think I'm also just gonna cast Wistfulness here. And then they'll be able to double trigger Bowmaster, but we'll have a 6/5 in play against a 4/4 and a 1/1, and then this also helps me dig for an answer potentially. There's an answer. Let's discard the Scalding Tarn. Let's bait a counterspell on Vivi. I feel like if they have a counterspell here, this is definitely one they'll just fire it off on. Although if we were gonna play around, I mean, I think they would dispute this also. But like we could have just gone X=1 to play around dispute. We could have also gone X=2 Ballista here. My opponent cycles a Cling in response. And then they're gonna cycle the Cling again. Also, X=2 is better against Snare. Maybe I was a little hasty. I think this was fine. Yeah. Fine, but maybe still not the right move this game. I don't know. I'm going to go and attack for 6, though. Wow, they cracked the fetch. I don't know if I would have cracked the fetch here, but maybe they're going to be comfortable chump blocking. They graveyard a Subtlety. Nice to have Vivi in play as Shieldred's Edict protection and Fatal Push does not kill Wistfulness as it is a 5 mana value card. I think I figured out what people ask on the challenge on days you aren't. If you don't actively close the stream on mobile, reopen the app, the stream is still active, keeps the previous title. Oh, okay, cool. I do think the Twitch app has been bad for a while. Hopefully they don't have Juan as the Juan unknown card here. I think we might as well cast this Rumble main phase 1. Yeah, they do have Cling to gain life, but if that's their turn, like they would much rather Cling for a card, I would think. I think I'm gonna take Gran-Gran. Well, Proft does trigger the Vivi. Does also trigger the Bowmaster. I think I'm okay triggering the Bowmaster. And if they target the spawn, I'll sack in response. I think I'd rather them do that, right? Could start YouTube streams. I could. At the moment, I'm still of the opinion that it does not make a lot of sense for the way things are structured, but I could be wrong, and I will put a little bit more thought into it. Okay, so they Cling a Rumble in response. This is great because now they're not going to be able to play a lethal wand. We draw another copy of Wistfulness. In the Phoenix deck, you show fully red of Manamorphose with Magmatic Sinkhole, maybe Reveler, something like Hearth Elemental Hellraiser. I mean, I have playtested all of those cards in various decks over the years. Certainly think some combination of them you could play, yeah. I kind of want to hardcast the Riddler, but I can't this turn. I guess I can go FOMO. FOMO, draw a card, 2 counters on the Vivi. And then this is a lethal attack at least. And then maybe second main phase I get to Vivi for a bunch. Very fun game. In my opinion, there's no reason not to co-stream to YouTube. Well, I think the fact that my current YouTube channel is all edited VODs from the stream certainly is a reason not to. But the conversation is pretty boring. We've been down it too many times. So they have to have a flash creature here to live. I just don't know how they could have Subtlety Bowmaster or Wand at this point. So they Cauldron my Ballista to go to 7 life points. They still have to block. I guess I did forget that Cling was alive out here, but we force them to trump the Bowmaster. We put them to 3 life, 1 card in their hand. Then let's go Quantum Riddler, draw 2. What card would you like to see reprinted that would have a good, healthy impact in Modern? You know, I get this question a lot, but the reality is, for the most part, I would prefer to see new cards rather than old cards come to Modern. So I guess we are dead to double Fatal Push. They only have 2 cards in their hand, though. Yeah, but for the most part, I just would like to see new, cool, exciting designs rather than old cards show up. All right, so they cling, targeting my island instead of my Faithless Looting, which is probably a mistake. I see like Modern Horizons as a whole or shingles from standard sets. Yeah, new sets, you know, both. I mean, not Modern Horizons sets at the moment. I think that they have not done a good job overall with Modern Horizons, but yeah, just this is Magic the Gathering. New cards get printed into into formats. That's how the formats. I think that's always my favorite way for a format to grow is with new stuff. Princess GG. So this was a long first match. MH2 stabilized a bad format in my opinion. I think MH3 wrecked a good format, and then I think the deck building and brewing with MH3 generally has been not a good time. Although now that we're like, you know, we're much past a year, like with all the unbans and bans, things have gotten a lot better since then. But and there's some good elements of MH3. For the most part, I think it was a big net negative. We're gonna keep this hand on the play here. MH2 giving a Screaming Fury. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a perfect set, although honestly, like, okay, one thing I really liked about the design philosophy of Modern Horizons 2, with the exception of the card Grief, you can be good against every single Modern Horizons 2. You can build a deck that's exceptionally good against any Modern Horizons 2 card. But with MH3, like K Command, Nadu, Amp Raptor, Guide, Pride, it's very Johnny. It's maybe Psychic Frog, maybe not Psychic Frog. There's just a good bit of cards that are like really tough to build your deck to line up well against. Okay, double Winternight Stories, Wistfulness is nice on this mana flooded hand. Do you agree with the MH2 bans? I think I would have banned Grief before I banned Fury, but I definitely don't mind both of those cards being out of the format. Let's see, so they play a Hallowed Fountain untapped. All right, no more ban talk for 5 minutes. Yeah, I think I'd like to be able to hardcast Wistfulness next turn. Just give myself the option. A little bit worried about Felia here, but I'm gonna cast the Looting. Yeah, let's play a Gran-Gran so we can just have the option to hardcast this next turn. Especially if they play like a Fable of the Mirror Breaker, we can blow that up and draw 2, discard 2. I feel like the people who really hated MH2 loved a format where ships pass the night as gameplay. I mean, maybe they like this metagame more. All right, we want them to tap out for Fable. That would be awesome. Have I seen the new Casey Jones Vigilante? I don't think so. Okay, so I have started getting my Turtle PowerPoint together. Yeah, I don't think I've got Casey there. There's some cards I actually really like. I actually think this card. I think April's kind of sick. Like April could just come down and draw 3 the turn you play it. Profs is pretty interesting. I do just think getting the Wistfulness in play is very valuable, since if it's Solitudes I get to gain 6, and then I will have a big creature in play to flashback Winternight. If you could evoke and then flashback Winternight, that would be so sick. You can't do that with Riddler Warp though. Eternal PowerPoint? I don't know if I want to lead into that or not. Oh, I also really, really like this card. Um, At the beginning of your instep, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control, you make a 1/1 rat token and you put a counter on the Rat King. So you crack a fetch or play a bauble, and it's a 2/2 that gives you a 1/1 rat. It does this every turn. And then you can also sack 3 rats to reanimate a creature from your graveyard. I don't know. I feel like I think this card's sick. All right, so they do go. Oh wait, they counterspell. So this is not just Guy Flash. Why not pay green, green, and blue, blue to get both modes in cast? Well, there sure isn't like an enchantment in play for me to do anything with the other mode, right? So I'm just trying to save time for your viewing experience. I think we're discarding 2 cards here. Probably 1, 2. I like that it's really good for crewing our ship, fighting sack fodder. Yeah, I mean, I just think this card's really cool. I don't know. It does do that for sure. Yeah, rat animate. Opponent's stuck on mana over there. I guess I play Vivi. So I could play this Fear of Missing Out. I get totally wrecked if they rat the skies, I think. Is that something I can play around? I think we'll play around it. I think we'll just fetch a Surveil land here. I kind of feel like they've got Wrath. Okay. We're not at main phase. We're not at main deck Get Lost in this format, surely. Literally, how is this in their deck? How do they have any number of Get Lost over any number of Prismatic Ending, Solitude, Wrath the Skies? Okay, we are weak to Narset, dude. Yeah, just no minus. I mean, I guess I'm keeping this, but... So I have to play this and just discard a card. I guess... Could I have I guess I could have cast Wistfulness without triggering any of the other modes. Maybe that would have been better. Get Lost is better against Domain than Pending. I just can't imagine that that's a good enough reason to main deck it, but maybe I'm missing something. Okay, let's keep that. And then I think I saved the other map token. But yeah, it looks like I can actually just pay mana where I don't have to discard any cards. Get Lost makes sense if they're on 3-4 Wraths. I don't know how you're on 3-4 Wraths, this many discharges, assuming some number of prismatic endings, assuming some number of solitudes, assuming some number of flage. I just don't know how this card ends up in the deck. So they evoke Solitude in my draw step. Now, Narset, on the other hand, is a card that I am very, very weak to. Down a game. So I'm going to bring in the Force of Negations. Although seeing that they're on Verdict instead of Wrath the Skies is a little bit of a problem. Now, I don't actually know how much I want Veil of Summer. They probably have 4 counter spells in their deck, maybe as many as 6. Maybe I'll play 2 Veils. I mean, Veil's also just, when it's good, it's so good. It's just hard to cut 7 cards in this deck in general. I guess like Rumble is a card you can go down on, because it's like, it allows you to keep having like your density of threats, and having a density of threats is weirdly really important here. Can probably cut 4th Profs, can probably cut 4th Looting, maybe 4th Stitcher, other than the Stitcher combo is a lot worse. I think it's okay in this matchup. I do think Narset's generically good in Modern. That was one reason I was trying out the whole Coliseum thing. I think Narset's it can be good, yeah. I definitely didn't hate it when I was testing it, but I don't know. The mana for the Coliseum Narset stuff is also so painful. It doesn't really feel. It just didn't feel worth it. I'm gonna keep this on the play. Gran-Gran is a dead card. Is this like a pun? You just don't like the card? Yeah, I do a lot. I do a lot of gold fishing with decks like this, Kosk. Just make sure I'm liking the way these like combo decks are playing. So I go in the just for fun room and solitaire. Turnpike with the 55. Thank you. Welcome back. I need lands. I think I'm keeping this though. Too much removal for it. I guess calling a creature that dies to removal a dead card is not something I've seen, but I mean my deck is like many decks in Magic the Gathering. It needs a creature in play to function, and part of that is always going to be trading for removal, right? Like, is this FOMO a dead card because it died to a discharge, or was it like a 2-for-1? I don't know. Was it a 1-for-1? We may never know. And in general, a 1-mana card when it dies to removal is not so bad because you're just trading the same amount of mana, or up on mana if they played Get Lost. Okay, so technically we could Wistfulness this Rest in Peace. I have not seen a Rest in Peace in a long time. Also, this is it's been a little bit. I think let's go ahead and just play Profts this turn. I'm pretty interested in trying to hardcast Wistfulness. I think I need to get green mana here. I don't have a Stomping Ground in the deck. Have I looked at Dawn and Wrath Heart Science as redundancy for Archway of Innovation? No, there's I saw it, but there's a 3-mana card that's it's a 3-mana artifact that doesn't need to attack. That's redundancy to Archway of Innovation, which we have played, and I don't exactly recommend it, but you can play that. Okay, kind of hard to say no to a Riddler. Maybe I'll just cast Looting though first. Does seem like a tough matchup. Discard 1-2. Maybe I discard 2. Maybe I just kind of move away from the Cauldron plan. But moving away from the Cauldron plan is kind of weird because now I want to evoke here. I think I am just gonna go move away from it and then warp a Riddler, be okay with it getting counterspelled, Force of Negation up for a Planeswalker, and then I'm in a position where I can like draw a land and hardcast a 5-drop and maybe just get all the modes. 4-color Goryo's Wistfulness. I don't know how much better Wistfulness is than your average looter in Goryo's. It is really cool that it can kill Graveyard Hate. But like getting like double green currently in Goryo's is really tough, although maybe it's not too difficult just to play another green source. I don't know how interesting it is overall. Really like Force of Negation because you just like your turns are just like almost always I'm gonna tap out to draw a bunch of cards, so so having a 0-mana counterspell plays really well there. So green, green, blue, blue, blue. I do think Wistfulness is like, compare this to Goryo's. Like, Wistfulness is just a much more exciting card in this shell to me. So we want to destroy the Rest in Peace before looting, of course. I think we'll discard the Misty, and then we get some counters on the Wistfulness. Do you run a Triumph if you go for a color? I think I would only play a Triumph if I was playing a Leyline Binding, but that could be a reason to play Leyline Binding, right? Hoping they don't have a Solitude. They reveal Supreme Verdict to the Narset. And they have a Solitude. Narset very tough to beat. This, certainly a tough matchup, it seems. Okay, okay, okay. Relax, relax, opponent. So they have one card in their hand. It's a Supreme Verdict. I imagine we'll see them minus the Narset. Oh, they pitched the Supreme Verdict to the Solitude, and their other card was Days Undoing. Okay, I concede. I yield. We'll keep it going here. But I mean, if this was a Steam Bench, this hand would be a lot better. My opponent's on a mull to 6. My opponent was last seen playing Jeskai Control. I think I'm mulliganing the one-lander. Not loving the Thundering Falls, but we're going to keep. Guess I'm going to put back those Winternights. What would you think about some number of Vibrance? Vibrance seems like it would be bad in the deck. I don't really like the land tutoring is useless or not good. The removal is not that interesting either, I think. So I don't see the vision. All right, my opponent probably has a fatal push if they're going to go Godless Shrine untapped. So why don't we just take this time to play a Surveil land? Emperor is pretty good against us. So we're up against a Blink variant. So let's go ahead and play the Profts with the hope that we can go Cauldron Looting to Cauldron Ballista to kill the Emperor. Although we would need to find a land in the top 4 to do that. Would you take the over or under? I never know which one is supposed to be the over and which one is supposed to be the under when I get asked this question, but fetchable man lands, I think would they even be better than Surveil lands? Maybe. I don't think they would be much better if anything. Just saw this. Supply Propane. WotC is still sharing too much data. We should only reveal top 4 deck lists once a month through Scry magazine, purchasable exclusively through Barnes & Noble physical stores. Yeah, I'm sorry, I know y'all want me to be screaming about Wizards of the Coast at the moment, but I don't know. There's just it's bad. It's bad. I'm very bad at doing the angry content. I do think big net negative. So I guess I'm gonna go for it here since we're so behind. Just by go for it, I mean try to find the Vivi off the Wistfulness. I guess I could still kill the Flicker Wisp if I miss. I didn't see it, Koska. Take a look later. Honestly, I haven't been on social media for a little bit. Okay, we do hit. Awesome. We hit 2 VVs even. So I'm holding priority. I'm going to discard this. We're going to Cauldron the VV onto Wistfulness. Maybe they have a Solitude, but if they do, we get to gain a lot of life. So maybe I can make this bigger so the yield to all isn't automatically there. So I could go X equals 3 Ballista. I could also go cast VV, cast Winternight Stories. So I go cast VV, cast Winternight Stories. I'm floating 1 mana, and then my VV can make 2 more mana for me. Because I can activate the VV once. It seems not quite there, huh? Couldn't you go Ballista? Oh, right, because I get to activate the Ballista for mana. Duh. Yeah, I think we'll just hold the Winternight for next turn. Pretty cool. We had no board to start this turn. Let's go ahead and I think ping ping. It's kind of weird against Ephemerate, but I think it's okay. Against Ephemerate, we'll just remove the last counter. If they did Ephemerate, they blow up the Cauldron. I guess so. But yeah, they'll use it on the Witch Enchanter. I think I'm taking 3. It's a good draw. Though I don't have green mana right now for the Rumble. I could Fatestitcher for green mana. It seems like that would likely be, or that could be a little bit of a spew. I guess what I want to do is warp a Riddler next. And then I could Cauldron onto the Riddler to make a bunch of mana. Although this is also a pretty interesting draw. Not that it stops me from making a bunch of mana later. So let's make 2 red, 3 blue. My total, this will only be my 3rd card drawn for this turn, right? No, I cast a Winternight, so I have 5 cards drawn this turn. Oh, they just concede. Okay, great. Using the green source instead of red mana was wrong since you have red from Vivi's. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we are up a game against Blink. Do we bring in Force of Negation for Wrath of Skies? Their Wraths are not as scary as something like with Galvanic Discharge. I think may just run it back. It's insane that 80% of this deck would have been standard legal. Let's see. Yeah, not quite 80, but a huge chunk, of course. The Ballista is really, like, having access to this. Maybe it's not that crazy. And I'm sure you have something like this in standard. I'll go ahead and not count this as a standard card. You'll have something like this to win the game with. Yeah, big chunk. All of your sideboards are always 3-4, no fucking around. Definitely more so in combo decks like this, where you don't want to sideboard that often. You want your sideboards to be really high impact. I do think that a lot of times, if you're going to take a deck and play it for months, a lot of times your sideboards don't look like a bunch of 3s and 4-ofs, but it's very tough to have a super tuned sideboard without grinding for a long time. Tried a version of Meteor Blade Coastal Legacy list. It felt like a worse blue-white Blink. Do you think it's because Force of Will Brainstorm is less accessible, feels worse in Modern? I think in general, trying to implement deck building from other formats into a different format never goes well. Like, I think you could take some inspiration, but just trying to implement the way the deck is built, like the ratios and the it's just like it can be kind of similar, but just trying to copy it never works. It's like, this, like the modern version, like this is a deck that's all playing standard, but I didn't start off building it like a standard deck. I started off building it like a modern deck using a standard engine. It's just, maybe I'm overthinking it, but different formats play very differently, and trying to copy is a little bit weird. Although I don't know what you did either. Could you go closer to a Yogg route with this list with Young Wolf and Dredger's Insight? I guess I feel like at that point you wouldn't really be VVing. Which, I mean, I think you just be playing Yogg, right? Like, I don't know how you play. I don't know how you don't play Yogg in that deck. It just sounds like a different deck to me. Instead of kill a Thrill Seeker, yeah. Just definitely infinite. I think there's also like a haste. Although I guess the haste enabler is worse because of profs. You want to be able to just like pop off post profs. I think Vivi just got Profs. Yeah, Profs also got banned in standard. That's right. Have I thought about what you're gonna play for Hunter Burden? I'm thinking I'm gonna play Dimir, but I'm not sure. I would need to pick up Wands and Consults. Opponent, not quite here yet. This game started 2 minutes ago. I guess they got up to do something. It's more about access to red and blue looters and 3-mana ability creature versus 4 while getting similar combo spread. You're talking about the Young Wolf thing? More about access to red and blue looter spells and 3-mana ability creature versus 4 while getting a similar combo spread. I mean, I just don't think that you can play Young Wolf Insight in the shell without like if you have Young Wolf in your deck and you kind of need to have Yawgmoth. If your deck is playing Yawgmoth or Young Wolf Treasure's Insight Cauldron, you should have some Yawgmoths, and then at that point, like, why are we playing the VVs? You know, just moves too much. Snapcaster with the 4 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm happy to take a look at a deck list or two while we're waiting. Yeah, so we haven't done this yet. I'll say I would not play Beseiju like this as a colorless utility land that also makes you splash a color. Also, Haywire Might is cool because it triggers fleet and airship. Although I might play Pick Your Poison because it's better against Domain Zoo. Usually, I just like my sideboard cards to be better than synergistic, if that makes sense. Yeah. Another thing about like not playing Beseiju this way is like Beseiju does trigger Moonshadow, which is cool, but fetch lands are just so insane. They're just so insane with Moonshadow. Like these could just be fetch lands. Bitter Triumph is cool with Moonshadow too, although I don't like that you don't really have anything to discard for value. Another thing is Nethergoyf seems like it would be really quite good in this deck. Another thing is these Phyrexian Towers seem quite bad. Like you have 3 Phyrexian Towers which are good with 4 cards in your deck. They're good with 4 Shambling Ghasts. This card is bad. You have no Bowmaster. Like if you have Bowmaster, you could go end of turn Bowmaster, untap Tower into Airship. But just like having like actual nothing to sack the tower besides the Ghast feels like it's got to be wrong. So yeah, I think there's some issues here, and this is kind of like why I haven't played Moonshadow Airship, is that it seems very difficult to get the requisites there. I think if this was a red source, we'd keep. Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice there's Flare of Malice, but yeah, you just don't have enough of the 1-drops. I have been kind of thinking that Stitcher Supplier Moonshadow could be interesting. Maybe I want to disenchant next turn. Stitcher Supplier Moonshadow could be interesting because if you Phyrexian Tower a Stitcher Supplier, that's 3 counters on your Moonshadow. Or off your Moonshadow. It seems like easy to flip Tamio in this deck. We did used to play Tamio in this archetype, but Tamio not being a creature that stays in play was really awkward because you want your creatures to stay in play so you could make mana off them. I would probably play Marauding Mako over Tamio too, but it is always cool to be able to play it with Rumble. I guess I am not attacking into Ophelia. Almost gravely mistapped here. But maybe they'll like dispute this and then we'll get to attack, although they're not very likely in this matchup. Tamio is a must flip, yes. So I could go Quantum Riddler plus Flashback Winternight Stories next turn, potentially. Supplier Moonshadow Skelemental would be pretty sweet. I mean, I can just Wistfulness the Overlord this next turn, but I don't know if this is going to be a winning line. I also have to like cut myself off red mana. They have Emperor of Bones, Quantum Riddler. Might just have to go to game 3. I think what I'm going to do is play Profs. If I'm going to be going Riddler Winternight Stories next turn, this seems like that'll be kind of powerful. Although, I don't know, we're probably pretty dead. And I can also Emperor my Winternight. Now I've tested a bit. Where do you land on the 2 hybrid color elementals? Oh, wait, hold on. So if I go looting, then... And I stack my triggers... Oh, this is... Sorry, I don't get the Gran-Grans. But if I go looting, I'll have drawn 3 cards. Make this a 4/5. Which I think we should do, even though we still can't quite attack. We can make them Felia my Gran-Gran potentially. Alright, so I think we need to hold the VV so they don't Emperor of Bones, exile it. Discard Hedge Maze. I think discard FOMO. counters here. Did I think about Formidable Speaker when brewing this? Speaker's too slow, I think. I think Speaker's too slow in a lot of situations, I'm kind of finding. They do have a Solitude here. So now we're going to try to draw Cauldron off the Wistfulness. Cauldron, Vivi. This seems like a way we could possibly win this game. If we don't, we're not going to be winning this game. Although, does Subtlety leave them with lethal in play? I guess it does if they have a land for the Emperor Bones. I guess they would have had lethal anyways. What was I saying? Oh, the 2-color elementals. So I think that Wistfulness is very powerful. I think Wistfulness and Deceit are both good in living in. Wistfulness is very good in this deck. Wistfulness has some more brew potential we haven't quite got to yet. Deceit in the Reanimator deck I think is quite good. I think that Deceit Reanimator deck is like a challenge-worthy deck at this moment. We haven't played a ton of it, but it's been really good both times we've played it, and I'm really open to firing that in a challenge sooner rather than later. I think that the black-white one was good when we tried it. I have not been able to find a good home for it. I don't really feel like Oculus is that exciting of a shell. Maybe it's the best shell somehow. The red-white one, I keep trying to put in Boros Convoke, and I keep looking at Boros Convoke and thinking that the deck looks really unplayable, so I end up not doing that. And then the green-red one is like kind of an interesting toolbox stuff. Cool to nick those deck. All right, keep this on the play. Do you think I should cut race for suppliers? The thing is, suppliers not good in your deck because you don't have anything to mill over for value. So that's a requisite you need to meet first. So Solitude, my grandma, pitching Wisp, dead card. I think I'm gonna Rumble. Like playing grandma this turn is kind of awkward into like a Felly attack. I'm gonna take Cauldron over Profs since stopping Emperor Bones maybe with this will be relevant. Although now it's just getting thought seized. Okay, this spell costs 2 less to cast if a player's life total is less than or equal to half their starting life total. Destroy all creatures. This card could be better than Damnation. I think it's probably better than Damnation. They took the grandma, wow. Okay, these spawn tokens are pretty valuable. I think you know what? I'm gonna play a Cauldron because we have 2. So if my opponent wants to spend like if they want to go like Witch Enchant or Flicker Wisp this next turn, that'll probably end up working out better for me since I've got 2. But if I only had 1, I'd probably just surveil this turn. Oh, it's a commander card. Okay, well. You know, it's very confusing because there was no commander product for Avatar. Like, why is there commander product for this? It's like they just I don't know. Maybe it's not that big a deal, but it's a little confusing. There was for Avatar. I thought that there wasn't. Oh, but that was Jumpstart, right? Is Jumpstart the same thing as Commander product, or was there just also Commander product? There was Commander product, no Commander decks. I guess is Jumpstart's the same thing? Maybe it is. Fairy's interesting here. They only have 3 cards left in their hand, also. So I'm gonna Cauldron the Solitude so I can attack the Teferi. I love how the spawn token is just like it's just so real in this deck. I draw a copy of a Wistfulness. Let's discard the 2 flashbackers and then make a gigantic spawn. We have had no VVs in the top 24 cards of our deck, which is okay. Guess I don't really get Formidable Speaker in this deck. Seems slow. Like, not as high impact for how high mana value it is for what you're kind of wanting for that deck. Good clickbait though. So I think what we want to do, yeah, I think we have 4 VVs in the deck. I think it's okay to not get to hardcast this, but we're looking for a VV off the Wistfulness here to try to win the game right now. We don't find one. I guess we're discarding a Fatestitcher, and is it ever right to not attack into Cauldron Fatestitcher on the spawn? You know, if we do that, we're like way better against Felia, and okay, and they just have Fatal Push. So is there anything to be done? No. That's okay though. We don't have any creatures in our hand. Wait, I played a land that turn, right? Sorry, I need to double check. Yes, I played Misty Rainforest. The idea Speaker occupies the same space as Bloodbraid while being more flexible. It's more flexible, but it's way less powerful. Like Bloodbraid Elf is like either an elf and a birthing ritual, and then the birthing ritual will be like a 5-drop, or it's like it's an elf, an agent, and a ritual, which is just like the power level of that is there's no creatures to exile with Cauldron here, by the way. The power level of that is really much higher than anything you're getting offered here with Formidable Speaker, I think. It is Richie. Welcome, welcome. Oh, they returned to. I was afraid you can get Planeswalkers back with this. Maybe I should have exiled the Teferi. Let's start off with a looting. You find a Quantum Riddler. I guess I'm going to discard Profs and Cauldron. I think that's fine. Although with the yeah, this is fine. I should have 4 more looks at VV by my calculations. One from the Riddler, one from Flashback Winternight Stories, and then the Fate, and yeah. I guess I don't need the Fatestitcher exactly, but oh wait, sorry, I guess I missed a draw because I could have played my land first, huh? Well, it's still Flashback Winternight Stories. We've had no VVs in the top 28, no VVs in the top 35, or sorry, okay, top 35 now. I think that number was wrong before. Yeah, but I could have seen one more card, to be fair. So if I can go haste to Fatestitcher, put like 4 counters on it, I could attack. I guess we can instead try to surveil for a VV. So we do get our one more look after all. It's not here though. Kind of sucks. A little unlucky. I guess I want to see what the odds of this happening are. It's not exactly going to be this number because of fetch lands, but population size 60, sample size 37, successes 98%. Honestly, lower than I would have thought. Now my opponent can Witch Enchant or something this turn. How many Cauldrons do I even have left? Oh, I still have 2. Oh, sorry, I should have Cauldron the fucking Witch Enchanter. Too busy calculating my bad luck instead of playing the fucking game. Alright, let's go to exile the Boggart Trawler. So now I need to find a VV and a Cauldron. There's a VV. Oh, and I guess I can kill the Overlord, but I have to use a Fatestitcher to tap better. I don't get to advance my board state. Definitely could have played better. Did the Bowmaster was dead to Overlord. They didn't have Overlord though. They also one of their 4 cards in hand is a Teferi. We know about that one. They Witch Enchanter my Profs, which is going to make things harder. But we've got 2 Cauldrons. Also, I guess combo killing might be kind of tough. Okay, we found a Cauldron. We'll probably win. They only have 1 card in their hand too. I can't play any lands. Cauldron Vivi. Flashback Winternight Stories. So yeah, I guess 17 cards in deck. We should be plenty fine to combo kill. Let's discard a Vivi and a Fatestitcher. Unearth Fatestitcher. Untap the Cauldron. Cauldron Vivi. Actually, let me make sure I don't have a. I guess I have another Cauldron in hand, so I don't need to worry about not having Cauldron untapped. So I should have plenty anyways. Then let's go make 6 mana or 5 mana. Sorry. Maybe casting Wistfulness first is a little bit better. It shouldn't matter a ton. With this in hand, let's go make blue. Unearth Fatestitcher. Evoke Wistfulness. We could cast it, but I don't think there's really much reason besides wasting mana, although we should have a lot of mana here. I'm going to hold priority. I'm going to loot another copy of Vivi in the yard. With the Evoke still on the stack, I'm going to untap Cauldron. I'm going to Cauldron Vivi. And then I'm going to make 21 mana with Wistfulness, and they concede. Okay. 2-1. Made a lot of little mistakes there, but got there anyways, thankfully. After bricking on Vivi for like 30-something cards. Pretty hand. Let's keep. WTL with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. Just it's just more involved in installing ADP. DK of the tier 1. Thank you. Welcome back. And I just don't know why people are subscribing here. Okay, I'm the worst Twitch streamer ever. Definitely discarding these 2. I spent too much time not too much time, but I was just kind of thinking, are we going to play Cauldron or Profs? But I mean, obviously we're just discarding these 2. It was an awesome 2 draw steps. Playing against Hollow One, so definitely want to play the Cauldron so it doesn't get inquired away. The looting is a really nice draw. So we're going to be able to go Fatestitcher, Profs, Cauldron. We can also untap a land with the Fatestitcher so we can looting before we activate the Vivi mana. Meme Deck Smacker with the Twitch Prime, thank you so much. Juno Twitch question: does Bind Twitch Turbo support creators at all? I don't think so, but listen, like, your own personal time is more important, and you know, I feel like just I don't really care how you're enjoying the stream as long as you're enjoying the stream. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're able to do this together. You know, some of y'all do need to subscribe for the stream to continue, but if that's not in your financial budget or that's not how you want to spend your money, I'm just happy you're here. And those who do choose to support the stream, I appreciate you doing that so the stream can continue, but it's never been a mandatory thing. All right, so we'll unearth the Stitcher. Right now we're getting... Yeah, I mean, I guess it just always makes sense to cast looting first. I think it's going to be more mana in the long run, although there is like this big upside of finding another Vivi, right? All right, so we will Cauldron the Vivi. Don't know that we're going to be able to win this turn. Seems less than likely at this point, but hopefully we can at least stabilize, if not chain some good stuff together. Grandma. Yeah, can't do anything else. -1 grandma. I wouldn't say we're exactly stabilized. See if they have another like discard enabler. It won't be so easy for them to kill me here on turn 3 at least. Although that's what they need to start with. We have 2 lootings and a Winternight Stories in the yard to keep churning. My opponent right now has 10, basically 13 damage here. If they can force a chump block, winning is going to be quite difficult. I'm going to choose to not play around Street Wraith or Bolt. Okay, they don't pump the Root Walla, which is interesting. Like I say, I have Lightning Bolt. Yeah. So let's see what we would have drawn. We would have drawn Rumble, which we couldn't have cast, so it looks like we would have died anyways. Down a game against Hollow One. I think this is a run it back kind of matchup. I heard you need someone to subscribe. Thank you. Now we're all on the backs of Cyberbully here. The stream can continue. What is Wistfulness giving us? A catalog with other modes. So Wistfulness is a looter to enable the combo in general. It's also it makes 7 mana when you Cauldron Vivi onto it, and you can even just go like Cauldron turn 2, evoke Wistfulness, discard Vivi, Cauldron, makes 7 mana. It also lets you kill stuff like High Noon, Rest in Peace, Leyline, artifacts, lock pieces, stuff like this. That's super good to just have incidentally. Also interacts with your opponent's stuff. Hard casting it in these grindy matchups where your opponent has a lot of cheap removal. Already won us, I think, 2 games this league. Like here, look, my opponent has Leyline, and I'm like, and that would be devastating. Or it would either be devastating, or I would have had to sideboard a lot of stuff for it. But instead, I just have 4 Wistfulness in my deck. Now, I might not draw Wistfulness. I might just die to the Hollow One stuff, but that is also like a big deal, I think, for the archetype. Let's go to Vengevine and a Phoenix. I think Hollow One's pretty underplayed. I am going to play a Cauldron here. Mostly as graveyard hate right now. They got a Looting. They discard a Root Walla and a Leyline of the Void. They force the action on the Hollow One, on the Vengevine, so go play this. We will try to exile the Phoenix before they can bestow. I think I'm going to cast Looting. Well, no, I guess one problem is if I cast Looting, I can't cast FOMO. Do I care about... I don't think I care that much about casting FOMO. Need to find a Wistfulness. I'm going to discard Looting Scalding Tarn, I guess. Then play Profs. And again, if we just don't find a Wistfulness, it is what it is. For my testing, Hollow One is just a more volatile energy. So one thing is Hollow One is just an aggro deck, while Energy is like super interactive, super grindy in the late game. So I think comparing it to Energy is kind of not where I'd want to be. But I also disagree that it's volatile. I feel like Hollow One is so consistent at producing some kind of very strong aggro draw. So some of them are stronger than others. Are they Phoenix from the hand? Some of their aggro draws are stronger than others. Like this one, especially backed up by Leyline, is really strong, and like would have also had this Vengevine. But it's like the cards in play might be kind of different. It does this very consistently. I don't know if that makes sense. So we can put a counter on FOMO or Grandma. Let's do FOMO, so if they discard a creature pre-combat, I get to block the Hollow One. Oh, wait, sorry, I'm just dead to the Root Walla. I thought it was one less damage. All right, 2/2. Keep this on the draw in a new matchup here. Dude, this is like my 3rd time playing. Did someone make a YouTube video? This is my 3rd time playing its Lantern this week. What's nice is we don't really care that much about bridge. I'm not sure like if they have like a bunch of surgicals and stuff. They do Pixis. If this is the walking, if they pick this Walking Ballista randomly, I guess that's a problem. Yeah, their username is Prison Warden. And then of course the big dynamic for Wistfulness is that it improves the Lantern matchup by a good bit. Someone made a video putting Blood Moon in the sideboard of Lantern to maximize fixes. So I thank them because now I really enjoy playing its Lantern. It's very I it's very different from how matches are usually played, and for a long time it hasn't been very hard to play against Lantern. Did I cut the meltdowns? I think I did cut the meltdowns because of all the Wistfulnesses, so that'll be nice to help them out some. I think I'm gonna go for FOMO this turn, discarding the Winternight, and then try to go Rumble into Profs. Rumble to set up Delirium, and then Profs to get 2 combats with the FOMO. Well, maybe I should have cast. I guess I could have attacked with Grandma first, or should have attacked with Grandma first. I want this for second breeding pool for Wistfulness though. When I fetch next turn, I guess I need to do it. I guess I should spend some time trying to figure out what's been exiled to the Pixis. I don't know that I will do that, but I should do that. Okay, they have a bridge. FOMO, I guess. Yeah, I should have checked to see if the Ballista's gone. Draw a card off Profs. There's the Vivi. I guess I won't be able to put counters on the other creature. I kind of want to hold the Vivi though. No, I guess it actually doesn't make that much sense, does it? Because if I don't draw mana, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm just like a little worried about Surgical, but I think Surgical is gonna get me anyways. And this is before this will pop off anyways too. And we drew Wistfulness, so don't really need to be that worried overall. They have Decay. They have Assassin's Trophy for my fear of missing out. It's kind of a Tony Stark, Iron Man, or Thor situation where this is, I think, just good for me to have the extra mana. So I guess I'm gonna go Cauldron Vivi on my sweet grandma. Then I'm gonna hard cast Wistfulness, I think. I guess I'll fetch it. I'm gonna look for the Ballista to see if the Ballista has been Pixist or not. Okay, has not been Pixist. And then I can use the Profs to get counters on the Wistfulness for a big mana burst, second main phase here. Think we discard Vivi, so when we find Fatestitcher, we can get another big mana burst. So I think I only get 2 counters here, right? Yeah, only 2. So this is gonna be. I have 9 mana after this attack. I won't be able to play a Rumble this turn, so it kind of seems free to discard. Why don't we start off by flashing back Winternight Stories? There's a Fatestitcher for again that big mana burst. Let's go ahead and discard the Fatestitcher. Then make a bunch of mana. I'll make some red as well as blue. Now, it could be kind of funny if my opponent like snipes the Ballista with the Pixis. Oh, I think there was a little bit of Magic Online weirdness there. I guess I didn't get too screwed. Or maybe it was better to Cauldron onto another Wistfulness. I mean, we're going to be fine here. Could just spend 2 mana on this, but when we find another Fatestitcher, it'll be a big enough mana jump. I don't think we'll care very much. Maybe I should cast Looting first. I don't think it'll matter. There's another Vivi. I guess we could also have hard cast that again. Not very likely to matter. My opponent decides that they've seen enough here. So we are up a game against Lantern Control. Shocker. I guess I kind of want some Force of Negations. Every card seems really good against them because they're kind of weak to card draw. So I don't know. Maybe this is too many. Seems like I want them anyways. Lantern 2027. Yeah, this is my third time playing against Lantern this week. I guess I want to actually like max out on lootings because if they get milled over, I can control my draw step. Yeah, I don't think Lantern has a single good matchup in Modern. Ashiok seems great if they're playing the Suspend Tutor. Yeah, maybe we'll bring it in for game 3 if we see it. Maybe not. Over sideboarding's a thing. Hand's good if we draw Gran-Gran, any lands. We're on the draw, and we have 2 forces. I think with 2 forces, I'm gonna keep. I mean, it's Lantern. We'll give him some help. Fail for hand disruption. It doesn't matter. It's kind of hard to hold up. It's like way better against Dimir, where the games are gonna go long. If you get a Stitcher under Cauldron, you draw your deck there. I mean, we were already drawing our deck there. This is our second Leyline of the Void. We played against 2 Leyline of the Void decks and a Rest in Peace deck this league. And I think this league might be the first time I've seen either of those cards in like 6 months or something. Maybe not quite that high, but like a really big amount of time. All right, always lucky. Might just hardcast Vivi this game. Our Lantern game's not long. Lantern games are long. Thoughtseize and Inquisition is a turn 1 play, right? So, like, I think trying to have Veil against when you really want to tap out on turn 1 a lot of the time is tough. Also on the draw is tough, but I mean it can be good against them, obviously. I think I am letting this resolve since they should name Cauldron, and there's currently a leyline stopping Cauldron, so I think I'm just gonna try to force Ensnaring Bridge. They named Fatestitcher, okay. Then we find a Wistfulness. Don't have double green yet. Also pretty interested in hard casting. Yeah, basically fought through all the hit cards. Did they see Ballista? I don't think they saw it last game, no. I don't know. I feel like I would have named Cauldron probably if I was them. They have 1 card in their hand. It's a Gold Caller's. I have a lot of nostalgia for Gold Caller's Bell for some reason. I was just kind of in packs. I started playing a Return to Ravnica, but I did open a lot of Innistrad block packs, and I don't know why. I just seeing a random common from these days is always fun to me. I think I will just go and cash 1 in since this is draw 2, discard 1 instead of draw 2, discard 2. I think I need to be filtering a little bit more efficiently here. We have some time. Although they are milling me. Don't find another green source. Hearing my southern accent is always a jump scare. I guess I don't even notice when it happens. How much of an accent do you guys think I have? I know it's hard to know, obviously. Yeah, I'm just gonna play Vivi next turn. They get my green source. Yeah, I tend to think I just got like a really normal like urban American accent or city American accent. 3 out of 10. Yeah, there's definitely a little. My mom has a kind of a thick Tennessee accent, or not super thick, but like it comes out when she's mad. Think saying y'all's coming normalize it. Y'all is a great word. It's like it's I kind of don't know why it doesn't exist as much in other dialects. I guess I probably should have got breeding pool first. What did they copy the artifact with? Mike and Sith Garden. Although it might have been a mistake because now they just can't cast a bridge if they have a bridge. Probably just have lethal next turn. Good thing they didn't needle Vivi. This is a mana ability, isn't it? It's a little bit weird because it's 0, but it is an ability that makes mana. So I'm thinking that it means it's a mana ability. It looks like we have defeated Lantern. I think we're 3-0 against Lantern this week, and we're really happy whoever made the YouTube video gave us these wins. Okay, so despite, I mean, we played through Leyland of the Void twice. Rest in peace, Narset. We did lose to Narset pretty hard. I think of all the cards I listed, Narset's the scariest because you can't Wistfulness it. We also lost a Hollow one, which I think I feel fine about. But let's go and do another run back with this one. I think Wistfulness is really exciting in this deck. I think deserve another one here.